Hello everyone, it's DuckFaden07. Today I'm playing my Blue Zoo Brew. I've been experimenting a lot lately with Scion Leyline decks. This is obviously very powerful combo, and I've been adding like various cards which you can pitch the Leyline of the Guildpact to. So there will be a lot of those on my channel in the next weeks. I'm very excited about this one. I think this is one of the most optimal lists I tried so far. So we have Subtlety, we have Force of Negation. On sideboard we have Force of Vigor, Endurance. All these cards can be, all the extra ley lines you draw can be used to pitch cast these cards. This is very important for the deck. Also, sometimes hard casting the ley line is good, but at times where it's not, you will often just have a way to use this card and it will be a decent draw when you're in need for a green spell or a blue spell for your pitch spell. So yeah, I think this is a very efficient strategy, and this was once before Dominaria United like the most popular zoo style deck that played Force of Negations, a couple of subtleties, a Fire Ice instead of Ley Lines, and this was like probably the stock zoo list before Dominaria United. Okay, so on the sideboard, I really love this sideboard. I love the sideboard very much. We have three Force of Figures, we have three Endurance. These are like premium sideboard cards from MH2. We have Teferi, Hiretsugu, Chalice of the Void, Flusterstorm, Tidebinder. All these cards hate on um, Cascade matchups, which are very, very prevalent right now. Like, you can't play a league without facing one of those. But also, all these cards are good against various other matchups. I really like the looks and the efficiency of this sideboard. You always have something for everything. Uh, except for the best matchups maybe. But I think like a lot of mediocre matchups previously got way better with the Leyline of the Guildpact, and I think some of these brews you'll see on my channel could be better than the stock zoo lists played right now, and this is definitely one of those. Okay, I'm very happy with the performance of this, and it could potentially be even more optimized, but I like the sideboard at the moment. And in the league, we are going to see I played Train Nacatl, one Brawler, but I think I'm sold on doing the 2-2 split between Nacatl and Brawler. Initially, I went with 4 Nacatl, 0 Brawlers. But yeah, Stubborn Denial obviously cares about Ferocious, and that is like the thing why I decided to go with the 2-2 split in the end. Overall, I think Nacatl is a bit more important for to maintain early pressure with this list. And yeah, this is really a true tempo deck. Other classic zoo list is more like aggro style, but this is like really tempo. So you jam a threat and you just attack with it a couple of times, jam another one, mostly two of those. Never like in zoo, you usually don't just swarm the board with infinite powerful threats early, but kind of play a tempo game, interact a little bit more with the opponent. Okay, so that is it. We are ready to go to the league and check out the games. Games were very interesting, all clean, very clean wins, except for last game. I was playing this on stream. I wasn't really that. I wasn't really that focused, and in the last game I missed that my opponent is playing um, creativity. Maybe if I thought about it a little bit better, I would play better there. So exactly what I'm talking about. You see in this situation when you draw leyline like this. It's obviously much less impactful when you have also subtlety in your hand, which you can pitch cast. So you're not sad about drawing Leyland. You're basically happy to draw it because you get a blue spell to patch to you can use to pitch on subtlety, of course. So I'll definitely hold on to that until I have 4 mana to hard cast it. Yeah, I think I accidentally skipped the. No, I didn't. I didn't. Sorry, I didn't accidentally skip the. I was playing against rhinos, so I didn't attack. I didn't want them to uh, block me with one rhino, which has +1 from violent outburst. But yeah, and I now decide it's time to just attack. I need some extra card selection. But it seemed like my opponent doesn't have a violent outburst, so I was good. So played my Ragavan, played Nacatl, still holding Subtlety in case they have Tidebinder. Tidebinder can actually kill my Kavu, so it can be important to hold the Subtlety there. Okay, now I got Force of Negation, that is great draw. Opponent got to draw 3, but I'm dealing a lot of damage here. This is 10 damage. I'm close to lethal, and I draw a bolt here, putting my opponent, sorry, Shardless into bolt, putting my opponent to 1 life. So even if they cast rhinos uh, above my Force of Negation, it's still very hard for them to get out of this. Okay, so here I am attacking with everything. I just need to get one creature through. Okay, my opponent starts with Tidebinder, and I decide to go first for a Subtlety hard cast. If they counter this, I have like a second to pitch cast, so opponent concedes there. That is game 1. They just didn't have a cascade spell. This one, it was a bad keep probably for the opponent. Okay, so the second one, you always like to start with Leyline, even if even if you don't have Scion, of course. And here I drawed into Stubborn Denial. That's pretty good. But yeah, one thing why I decided to go with 20 lands in this list is because you always want to draw that one forest, and when you have a Leyline on the field, I noticed it's much easier to play around Blood Moon. So getting one forest in situations like this, it's usually like totally fine. As you can see here, I don't even care that much. I can dash Ragavan here, hold Stubborn Denial for next turn, or if they let damage through, I can just play the Kavu. Kavu is 5/5 here, so it's good against their rhinos. So my opponent had a window here which they could use to. Of course, I'm now limited to playing one spell per turn, but that's this is fine. I decide to use both of Stubborn Denials here to resolve my Kavu. I think Kavu is very important. So obviously, why my opponent decided to trade with Ragavan is with the Leyline of the field. They know that it's not their Magus is not that good. But yeah, I had a bunch of mediocre plays available there, and I decided to just let my Kavu live. I could go for a triple block here, but my opponent has Force of Figure to kill my Leyline, and yeah, that means all my Kavus die because I didn't have a full domain without it, and yeah, I was unable to handle this. Just a couple of bad rolls from the top, and that was the game. I mean, Blood Moon is still good, but you're just able to play everything anyway. So it's not that impactful. Okay, here I keep a one lander, but it is a good hand. I have Leyline, I have Binding, I have Cowell, Stubborn Denial. So I just need a sec. If I get a second land, I'm really good position right now. Okay, here is my second land, and I decide to fetch a basic again with Leyline on the field. This basic um, provides me it plays totally around Blood Moon so easily. I decide to let my opponent resolve first rhinos. Opponent blocks everything, cow, and I get to binding one of the dinos, bolt the shardless, so my cow survives, and I still have mana open to hold for Flusterstorm next turn. So this is basically pretty much game over for the opponent unless they have a tight binder or just a bunch of cascade spells. Also, if I just draw a Scion at any point, it's almost unwinnable for them unless they draw Boseiju. Okay, so as I said, very easy to play. And yeah, I now only have one card in hand at the moment. I decide to discard the flames. I prefer like having something, some creature. So I got the brawler, happy with that. Letting the 2 damage through, opponent goes for a Brotherhood's End, kills my brawler. That's it. Okay, I can go with Ragavan, but I decide to just discard the Ragavan, get another card, and I draw the Scion. And opponent has Subtlety, but that only puts a Scion on top. So I'm pretty happy with that. Scion on top, opponent on 6 life. This is like definitely unwinnable for the opponent. I can just easily go for attack here with Kavu, putting my opponent on 1. They can't kill my Kavu right now. They can't kill the Scion. So that is game over. And win in match 1. Let's check out match 2. The 3 next matches were just super easy. Shows how powerful the deck is. Here I start with the Leyline again. I save the second Leyline in hand so I can use it to pitch cast to Subtlety if needed. Subtlety is such a good card right now. I was playing against a Hammer, so I was saving Subtlety for a more important target like a Stoneforge or Pure Steel Paladin. Opponent here goes for Stoneforge. I cast my Subtlety. Opponent concedes. Yeah, they concede for a reason. This is just a very powerful place for me to be in. I'm attacking. This is a 2-turn clock. This is just incredibly powerful. I'm doing the draw discard with Cabo, getting the perfect draws. At any point, the leyline is just game over. Opponent immediately concedes. Very quick games you will see with this list, which really feels incredibly powerful. I forgot to show the sideboarding plan in game 1. Let's in match 1. Let's check it out here. So trimming on Ragavan, trimming on Nacatl, trimming on flames because I'm bringing in Hiretsugu and Hiretsugu can kill my 1-drops, so I wanted to trim on those. Okay, here I force the Sigarda Zaid. That is like the most important spell to you want to force. So jamming Scion here and another Scion. I have Force of Vigor for next turn. I have plenty of options here. So I have brought in like Force of Vigors, incredibly good card in this matchup. Also Hiretsugu, also another incredibly strong card for the matchup. And here I hold the Force of Vigor this entire time. I didn't want to use it on Drum and Sentinel. I saved it if they get something more relevant like Urza Saga or Hammer or yeah, something relevant. Okay, so opponent concedes, very quick win against Hammer. Let's check out match 3. Also, the sweet thing about these zoo lists is they play incredibly fast. You're like really fast with ending the game, finishing the things. And I would recommend taking this deck to big tournaments. You're able to end all the matches on time with mostly with extra time available to you. Okay, so now I start against a Giganta, against Domain Zoo. Domain Zoo is incredibly powerful right now, incredibly also popular at the moment. A lot of decks just play it. I think this blue version could be even more powerful than the classic one. Okay, so here my opponent tries to kill my Kavu. I force it, play. Forced they play Ragavan. I have Ragavan plus Scion. My hand is incredible here. It's very difficult for my opponent to recover unless they have Scion, of course. But I play my Scion, leave these two guys behind, and cycle one of the cards. My guys have first strike, so this is like my opponent can't get out of this situation. It's almost impossible. Only Scion gets them out, but they block with Brawler here, so even that doesn't matter. Yeah, and that's his game. Okay, so let's check out game 2. Okay, against Domain Zoo, I so as I said in this version, I had 3 Nacatls instead of 2 split with Brawler. I decided to bring in 2 Force of Figures and take out all of my Nacatls, especially on the draw. Um, I also brought in 1 Tidebinder instead of 1 Force. Tidebinder is decent against against Kavu. It can kill a Kavu if you don't have interaction, but kind of on the draw, it's hard to bring in both against. On the play, I would probably bring in both. Yeah, but that wasn't necessary. So unfortunately here, I didn't have a double blue mana for Subtlety. If I had, I would probably just keep a Subtlety, because there's just a really high chance they'll play a creature. It is a Domain Zoo, it is aggro deck. But I didn't have a second blue mana, so I just play Binding here. Continue attacking with Scion, hoping opponent doesn't have um, Binding of their own, and I go for Tribal Flames face, putting my opponent on 5. This means I don't know why, but my opponent lets the damage through. You never let the damage through against Domain Zoo, but yeah, they let it through, and then they play the Kavu. I pass the turn holding Force and Flames. This means they can't really attack because I have a Kavu, and this all happened because they let the damage from a Scion. I guess they thought they're very high on life. They were at 14 at the point, so that was probably the reason. But here I top deck another Teferi to bounce Kavu and finish the stuff. So it is another easy win in match 3. Let's check out match 4. Okay, again starting with Leyline. First time this league, I have both a Scion of Draco and Leyline in my starting hand. I decide to play fetch first. This way, if I have, I can binding anything they play on turn 1. But since they don't do this, I just decide to go for fetch Scion and fetch Triome and play Scion on turn 2. My opponent immediately concedes. I didn't know anything about my opponent's deck. I only saw Misty Rainforest, but here you can see that I sideboarded incorrectly. I only didn't bring in a Chalice, but I brought in a Flusterstorm and I brought in a Teferis. So I brought in like 2 impactful cards. I didn't want to risk more because I didn't have more information about my opponent's deck, so I didn't bring in the more specific hate like Hiretsugu, Chalice. I just brought in Fluster and the Fairy, and that was good enough. I draw a Fluster Storm in my starting hand. Very, very good card to draw here. And again, I have the Scion on turn 2, also holding the Subtlety if needed there. I'm letting my opponent resolve their Rhinos if they want, and then I have Flusterstorm for later. But it's Scion plus Leyline is unbeatable for them. They have to have exactly Boseiju. Even like with 4 Rhinos on the field, they just can't beat it. So they concede again on turn 2. You can see just how powerful this combo is. Okay, so match 5, trophy match with this brood list. This was my first and only um, league with this deck. Okay, so here again I start with Leyline. plus Scion of Draco. Okay, so I go for Scion on turn 2. This is incredibly powerful, but yeah, now, only now I realize my opponent is playing creativity, and I don't have any interaction. Also, they bounce my Leyline, so this means they have the fairy on the field. If they have creativity, it's more or less game over. Um, no card selection for me right now. I go for a Leyline before attacking here, but opponent has... I just have to attack, I don't have a choice. Opponent has creativity, so it's game over. In this game I had like Leyline plus Scion. It didn't matter, my opponent hand was very good. So that was a quick win for the opponent. Let's check out game 2. Okay, so in the game 2, let's check out the sideboarding plan. Obviously, Flusterstorm goes in. Tidebinders goes in instead of all the subtleties. So not much changes, just a couple of them. I'm not really prepared to play against creativity that much. Okay, here my hand is much better. I have like Scion plus Leyline, but yeah. And I also have some interaction which is crucial, having interaction there. Okay, so my opponent destroys the Leyline. Verter is going to be a popular card right now. It kills both Leyline and Scion of Draco, so it's really good. Okay, here unfortunately I don't have my third land, but it's all good for me. I get to attack with the Scion, kill Leyline there, token, and finish things with Tribal Flames, turn 5 classic zoo kill. So let's check out last game of this league for the trophy, playing second against creativity. It was a mediocre hand, but yeah. So basically, this is a keepable hand. I only need to draw like one interaction piece, and if you with one interaction piece, this hand becomes very good. This means they can't do the creativity on turn 3, turn 4, sorry. I need just a single interaction, but yeah, they curved in perfectly, like binding turn 2 my creature into turn 3 the fairy plus. They're playing first, so this is much easier for them. This time they didn't have a creativity. So I was able to play more. I have a Nishoba Brawler now, but yeah, still I go for Scion 2 still. This the fairy making things a bit more complicated for me, but yeah, now again opponent finds Archon and I can't do much about this. My hope was they don't have it until I top deck something next turn, but they had it again, and yeah, they don't have it every time. They can't mulligan for creativity infinitely. They just keep hands with a lot of removals and hope to top deck it. But both times opponent was on the play, they had it early, so that was a game over. But as I said, didn't really prepare to be playing a creativity. I think this list is great against it. I have 3 Stubborn Denials, 3 Force of Negation, 6 very powerful cards against them. When you pair this with the cheap removal with Bolt, Binding, and these aggressive, powerful creatures, Domain Zoo plays in Kavu, Scion, Brawler, Ragavan, Nacatl. Uh, Creativity was historically one of the best matchups for Zoo, and Zoo was at its peak when Creativity was the most popular deck. But yes, Zoo is getting very popular again. Could be among best 3 decks in Modern right now. And I think this version could boost it even more. I feel like it's really doing the job well and playing all the key pieces, followed with more of these powerful free spells utilized very well in this deck, both in the main and the sideboard. and I feel like having this sideboard at the moment is also a very powerful thing, since I can't play Gigant anyway because of these spells. So I feel like if I went to the big tournament right now, I would take one of my alternative zoo lists, like this one. Also, another one coming tomorrow, and another one coming day after that, and there will be more next week. So just keep up with the channel, and yeah, thank you for watching. Friendly reminder to click like, click subscribe, comment in the video. As I said, this was once most popular zoo strategy before I brewed the classic regular zoo list post Dominaria United. Uh, this style without binding, of course, and without two ley lines. We played Fire Ice back then and some other blue cards. Okay, but I think this is again a very powerful strategy and plays a game a bit more tempo style, a bit less aggro, but it's also a very aggressive, similar gameplay experience, fun to play and can win against everything. Like there's no bad matchups for this deck, absolutely none. So there is just no, like the worst matchup has probably like 45 win percentage. So there's no bad matchups for this deck. I can't imagine what deck would be a bad matchup. This deck has response to everything, can play around everything. There are bad matchups, slightly bad matchups, which play uncounterable spells, verdicts. Blue-white control is probably among worst. They can deal with Leyline easily with Scion, but even that is very winnable, and there's no like extremely bad matchups for this strategy at all. So that is it. Again, thank you for watching. Until now, that is it for today. Goodbye.